Welcome back to Turning Point International. You know, we all face challenges in our lives that seem insurmountable. We all have that one mountain that we feel we cannot climb. But Nigerian author Vincent says there is a way to get across that mountain. Simply put, start climbing and don't quit. He's the author of Persistence Works, and it's our pleasure to have him with us in the studio today. Vincent, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Now, a lot of people watching this program today might say, well, you know, persistence, I think I have an idea of what it is. And then there's some people who might just say, what really is it? For you, as the author of this book, what would you describe as persistence, and what would you say to individuals watching the program today who say, well, you know, I've tried to be persistent, but nothing really works?
Well, once again, thank you for having me on the show. You see, to define persistence, the word persistence, the root of the word is from the word persist. And to persist means to continue to do something without giving up, despite obstacles, difficulties, and opposition on the way, and even despite criticisms. Now, to persist means that you refuse to give up in the face of challenges, in the face of difficulties, in the face of hardship. So persistence means that you are pursuing a goal or a dream, or there is something you are believing God for, and there seems to be no physical manifestation of the answer, and you are refusing to give up. Your persistence means that you refuse to give up, you continue, and you refuse to quit until you see the physical manifestation. And I emphasize the word, the physical manifestation of the miracle, because sometimes God answers the prayer in the realm of the spirit, in the realm of faith, it's already done. But the physical manifestation is what might be delayed. So there is a need for you to persist, for people to persist until they see the physical manifestation, so that no matter the delays and obstacles and challenges and criticisms on the way, refusing to give up, don't quit until you receive the manifestation of the miracles that you believe God for.
Now that's really easy to say. That's very well put, and it sounds good coming out of your mouth, but when you're actually in that situation where you have setback after setback and disappointment after disappointment, how do you keep holding on? You might get to the point where you're like, well, maybe it wasn't God. So how do you keep on holding on?
Now, to be able to hold on, you have to understand that you are dealing with a God whose word created the heavens and the earth. He said, let there be light. And this was in the midst of thick darkness, and there was light. And with the same spoken word, he created everything. Now, in the same word, his word said that if you ask him anything in his name, he will do it. Now, when you come to him in prayer and you ask something, your faith that he is able to do exceedingly abundantly above what you ask or think of. And you are understanding of the fact that God is not man. He's not limited by time and space and by the limitations we experience as man. So when you are in that situation and you understand that what you are trusting God for or what you are believing him for, despite the fact that there may be challenges, but if God said he will do it, I'd rather believe he will do it. It doesn't matter the time, because eventually I know that sometimes we might not have the answer the time we want to have it. And some of us give up because we didn't see the answer at the time we wanted to. But the moment you understand that God has promised that he will do this, if, for instance, God said he will bless you with a child, and your age is clocking and you feel, well, maybe my time is gone, I won't be able to hold on. If you understand that God operates not just within the time of, our own timing, that if he says he will give you a child, no matter whatever timing your own time says, he will do it. So I believe when we have an understanding that God is God and not man, that he operates in the realm far above time, space, and the limitations of man, that whatever his word says to do, he will do. That becomes a strong and firm foundation that we have to believe him for everything that he said he will do.
I'm a strong believer that there's a very thin line between success and failure. And what makes the difference is persistence.
That's right.
For our viewers watching the program today, what would you describe as the biggest obstacle to persistence?
I think in a simple way, the biggest obstacle to persistence is not persisting. Because when you refuse to persist, in fact, when you persist and midway you quit, is an equivalent of not persisting in the first place. Because assuming your miracle is here, and you persisted 90%, and you gave up, all the 90% effort you've put in is wasted, because at the end of the day, you didn't have the physical manifestation of that miracle that you are believing for in the first place. So the greatest obstacle to persistence is not persistence. And the greatest virtue that we can have to be able to succeed in life is persistence, because when you have it, when there are obstacles on the way, with persistence will eventually wear out every obstacle and every difficulty. There has been no great organization, ministry, or life that has been built or that has been raised that didn't pass through persistence, or that don't, possess that virtue, because many times there will be things that will want to make you give up. It's natural. We always come to the point where we feel like giving up. But the moment you refuse to give up, those challenges and obstacles, a time will come when they will have to bow down, to bow out, and your persistence will prevail.
Kathy, you take the last question.
How do you step into God's time? How do we get out of our time and step into God's time?
Now, you see, God has an appointed time for whatever he wants to do. He doesn't operate by our own human timing. When God wants to do something, he sets an appointed time. And when we understand that there is an appointed time for what God wants to do in your life, it will also help you to persist, because you know that when that time comes, that God will move, God will do what he wants to do. So to be able to step into his timing is really simply means for you to keep waiting, keep persisting, keep doing whatever he tells you to do. Remain where you are or move to wherever he tells you to move, and believe that when his timing comes, he will bring to pass what he has said he will do.
Wow.
And that is what persistence is all about.
One of the amazing things about television is how quickly time flies. But we're going to persist on this journey and insist on having you back again to talk about persistence. Vincent Paul, thank you so much for being our guest.
Thank you very much.
The name of the book, once again, is Persistence Works. And if you want to order a copy, there's a website address right.
Not quit. Don't give up. Continue to hold your ground in spite of what you see. Don't bow to what you see. The Bible tells us that what we see is temporary, and what we don't see is eternal. Jesus Christ sits on the right hand of God, and he makes intercession for us. And so don't give up until you see your miracle. Victor?
Well, thanks, Kathy. Our message today is simply this: don't give up, don't quit. Trust in the Lord, because in him there is hope through his Son, Jesus Christ. He's the Son of the living God, and he holds all power in his hands.
That's right, and that is good news. You know, the kind that makes me want to dance, that kind of good news. So we leave you today with Salvador singing David Danced. We've enjoyed the company, and we'll see you next time.
You're gonna